Hello, Chef Marcus Guiliano here. I'm your chef on a mission. YouTube took down my McDonald's video. I made a McDonald's video back in, I think, 2012. I think it was around the Super Bowl. McDonald's launched this video of how they buy their beef from a family farm. Yeah, from a real family farm. So I did a little bit of research because I know the food system. I know how beef works. I know how it goes. If you watched one of my previous videos, I made a video on Tom Colicchio because he's saying that he's buying from family farms as well in one of his restaurants, and it wasn't quite the family farm I thought it was when I thought Tom was legit, but maybe he doesn't even know what he's buying. Who knows? I'm not sure. Maybe some of his products are legit in some of his restaurants, but the Las Vegas restaurant craft steak, I think he's stretching the truth when he's saying, when he buys dayboat fish and he's buying farmed Scottish salmon. I think the little saying dayboat seafood they use is a little bit of a stretch on buying family farms. So let's jump into this McDonald's thing, right? So made this video, McDonald's, let's start rolling the video here. Okay, let's start putting it like right up here or something. Okay, so I'm gonna move over a little bit so you can see that. So check this out. McDonald's has these cattle out there that are just like roaming the pastures, and that's what they said. So in Illinois, there's this guy who has this farm here. The heifers are out there. Beautiful farm. Look at that. They are, look at, he's out there monitoring the cattle, birds. It's like a wildlife sanctuary out there, huh? Wow, look. Lone cattle out there, grass pastures or dried up grass pastures, showing the family, the grandkids, the sons helping him work, saddling up, going out on the ranch. So this guy here, his name's Steve. They're going to say his name here at some point in the video. So I got a hold of him. I Googled his name and I found his ranch. I found the name of that ranch and I called him up, and he was shocked that I called him. Turns out he used to be this guy here. There's a reason why he's on this commercial. He's the past president of the American Beef Association, or the National Beef Association, whatever it is. He's a past president of one of these major beef associations. This guy's a longtime rancher. He has a built-in client, and it's not McDonald's. It says McDonald's Beef Supplier. He has a built-in client. That client is Tyson Foods. Tyson Foods buys everything of that he does. The Tyson doesn't buy his ribeye steaks and his ground beef. They buy his whole cattle. So what happens is, I call him. I say, Steve, I want a little information about your farm. And saw the McDonald's commercial. He's like, oh, I can't talk about anything like that. I can't talk. I said, wait. I'm just looking to do an educational thing. I'm a teacher. And I am a teacher. We're learning here on YouTube, like I said in my last video that I made. I have a classroom here on YouTube. I just didn't say the YouTube part. I said I have a classroom. I'm telling my students, today we're talking about the production of beef and the 7 steps of beef production, from calving the beef to the mid feeder, to going to another auction, to going to the finisher, then get processed and then branded and sent out. So I just wanted to know I don't want to talk about the McDonald's part. I said, what do you do? What is your process along this? Because, I want to use you as an example. Your commercials all over the place. So he goes, oh, great, Marcus. Great. No, so he's like thinking, yeah, I'm talking to like some Culinary Institute of America professor that's going back to beef class, which no, that's not the case. And he opens right up to me and he goes, well, I'm just the mid guy, right? I'm just putting them on grass. And then they go off to Tyson Foods. I said, Tyson? He goes, oh, yeah. I sell my beef to Tyson. 7,000 farms across America, folks. Tyson Chicken and Tyson Beef. Tyson Beef is the biggest commodity beef company out there. They are the big beef company. There's other big companies like Montford and Excel and IBP. But Tyson is pretty large. And Purdue, if you were buying Purdue chicken, you could basically say, you're buying from a family farm too. Because Purdue doesn't own the chickens. They're buying the chickens that actually go from these small family farms in Maryland or wherever, then to the processing plant to Purdue. So Purdue buys them. That's how that works, folks. Same thing with beef. But beef spend time in a feedlot before they actually go to the processing plant. So Tyson buys his beef. They stick it into a feedlot for 6 months. It might be 6 months, it might be a little longer. In the case of what Tom Colicchio was buying, Double R Ranch sticks them in there for 6 months. 6 months, they get pumped with grain. They haven't seen the family for 6 months, folks. The cattle that Tom Colicchio is buying, they've not seen the family for 6 months. They're locked in a feedlot, getting pumped who knows what, eating who knows what. So same thing with Tyson. They buy it from Steve here, the past president of the Beef Association, Cattlemen's Association, whatever it is. They lock them in a feedlot for 6 months. Family farm is long gone. They're out, you know. But yet, McDonald's has the audacity to show you this guy's ranch. They didn't show you the other 7,000 ranches that Tyson buys from. It's like to say they have some exclusive with this guy. There's no exclusive. They sell to Tyson. He sells his meat to Tyson. McDonald's buys meat from Tyson. The meat that he's selling goes into a big feedlot. It's getting mixed up with all kinds of cattle. Then it goes into the processing plant, gets ground up with all other kinds of cattle. And his beef may never even be making it to McDonald's that month, that year, but it's in the same chain supply, same food chain supply. So McDonald's has the audacity to tell you that's the beef that they're using. That's the beef that you're eating from this beautiful family farm, not realizing. So I got all the information out of this guy. I got everything I needed to. I made a beautiful video. And I think McDonald's got it yanked off of YouTube because it's not there. It's not in my videos. So I just wanted to make another video and clarify this. The McDonald's deceptive practices of saying they're using small family farms. And if you go on their website, on their corporation, McDonald's Corporation on YouTube, you'll see sustainability, this and that. Sure, McDonald's has done some things to move forward, like less density in the chicken coops and the cages. So they have the power to make massive changes with animal husbandry because they are the biggest purchaser of all these kinds of products. So they have the power to go in and say, hey, stop debeaking chickens, which I think they might have done. Stop putting, we want this, we want that, and we're not buying it unless you can do that. So they can go to Tyson and say, hey, we want all grass-fed beef for our burgers. And Tyson would do that for them because they're the largest supplier. But the money's in the grain feeding. The money's in fattening these cattle up and pumping them and sticking them in a feedlot where they can't move and just making them so obese that they can't, there's just fat and marbled. So McDonald's, and most of you don't believe that, right? The problem is the good thing is most of you don't believe that, but when Tom Colicchio says he's doing it, most of you believe that. Most of you think like, wow, yeah, Tom Colicchio, celebrity chef, he's on our side, this and that. Folks, he's globalizing his restaurants. He's out there on a big scale. It's on a mass scale. He's got to be buying stuff from bigger farms like that can support doing 200, 300 covers a night, 400 covers a night in each location. And that's the reality of what it's come to for him. Are there better choices that he can be doing? I sure think there's better choices. The beef that he's buying they own 4 or 5 different brands of beef, and they raise beef in 5 states in that part of the Northeast. Snake River is part of the portfolio of Agri-Beef, and Snake River only does 500 animals a week. The beef that he's buying does 7,600 animals a week. That's a much larger scale operation. So, family farms, you can technically say that everything came up from a family farm at some point, and every restaurant could be saying that they're doing family farm raised food, but the reality is that's not what's happening. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and definitely pass it on.